Hello everybody and welcome to the first of this week's Boredom Buster crafts. Now we're going to make this fantastic bat and balloon bash game, and it's great because even on a miserable rainy day like it is today, we can play with this indoors. So it's going to be lots and lots of fun. Alrighty then, so before we get started, let me very quickly introduce myself. My name's Nicola and I am the founder of The Fearless Frog. And I basically run creative crafting workshops for children aged 3 and over. So are we ready to get cracking with today's wonderful bat and balloon bash craft? Okay, so let's run through some of the items that you're going to need. Now you might have already seen the list of supplies. They are further down in the Facebook page, so you can look on the post on there, or you might have received it on email, but if not, don't worry, I'm going to quickly run through the things that you're going to need. So ideally you need some paper plates. 2 paper plates is best because it gives it a bit more support. If you haven't got paper plates, do not panic. You can get some thick cardboard and just get a plate and draw around it so that you've got a circular piece of cardboard. Get an old cereal box, quickly take out the bag that's in the cereal box, put it on the side, no one will know, and grab the box and draw a circle in it. Okay, so we need a round piece of cardboard or 2 paper plates. We're also going to need a stapler. We are also going to need a stick. Now this stick is about probably 30 centimetres long. You could just get a stick from the garden or in the park. I'm using what's known as a dowel rod, so you can use one of those. You could use a chopstick. Okay, doesn't matter as long as you've got some sort of stick to give your bat a bit of support. And you'll need a strip of cardboard that's a similar length as well. Okay, it would be great if you can get hold of some tape, whether it's masking tape of some description, but just some tape because we're going to need that as well. Quite a bit of that to try and hold everything in place. You'll also need some fun strips of fabric, any colour, any scraps of fabric that you can find. I've got about 4 about this long. You'll need some scissors, you'll need a hole punch. Be nice if you can get some stickers as well, if you've got some stickers. And you'll also need some paints. Now, if you haven't got paints or if you haven't got the room to get paints out today, don't worry. You could use things like felt tip pens or those nice paint sticks or crayons or oil pastels, whatever, as long as you've got something nice to decorate with. And then finally, you'll also need some string and a needle to do some threading with. But if you haven't got like a plastic embroidery needle, what you could do is use like the end of a pipe cleaner, and you can just tie the wool to the end of the pipe cleaner when you come to do your threading. Alternatively, you might not even need the needle. You might be able to carefully push it through the holes just by using your fingers. Okay, so I'm sure we can come up with a solution if you don't have a plastic embroidery needle. Okay, so let's get started then, shall we? The first thing you're going to need is your paper plates or your circle of cardboard. Now I'm just going to staple these together because I want to keep it nice and strong. Okay. And also, if we're not using lots of PVA glue, it's great because it means we don't have to wait ages for it to dry. So just going to pop a few staples around that, keep that nice and secure. Okay, dead easy. Pop that to one side just for the moment. And then what you're going to need is your strip of cardboard like this and your stick. And you're just going to place one on top of the other. So we've got it like that. And we're going to tape them together. So I've got some pretty pink tape here, which I'm just going to pop around. Here we go. And just off there, and then put another bit on a bit lower down. Now you might realise that this bat and balloon bash game that we're going to make is actually very similar to a certain sport. Can you guess? Yeah? Anybody know? Very similar to tennis. Now some of you might have been watching lots of sports at the moment with the Olympics going on in Japan, and tennis is one of those sports that happens there as well. So the next thing you're going to need then is to grab your plate and your stick that you've just taped to your cardboard, and you are going to tape them to your plate. So it's about there. Okay, so I'm going to get some wider masking tape than one I've just used. And use plenty of it. Make sure it's nice and secure. Okay, so I'm going to stick that down to the back of our plate, making sure it's as secure as it possibly can be. Here we go. So I'm just putting some extra along the edges, make sure it's lovely and secure. And I might just finish it off with a little bit of the pink tape as well to make sure we've got lots of colour on the back. It's always nice to see different colours. So this is what it's looking like at the moment. You can see I've got all the tape all along the edges there. As I say, I'm just going to put a little bit of extra pink tape as well, because I like pink. There we go. Pop that over the edges. Make sure it's nice and secure. And we can already see it's coming together already, looking very much like a bat. Okay. So you can see, there we have it. All right. So it's looking a bit plain at the moment, so we need to jazz it up and do a bit of decoration. All right. So the next thing we're going to do then is to get our fabric strips. Now, it doesn't matter what colour fabric strips you've got, the brighter the better. So I've got one with little dogs on it. Got one with butterflies, an orangey pattern here. But if you've only got some plain strips, that's absolutely fine as well, because you know what we can do? We can paint them. So I'm just going to add a bit of paint to my strip that I've got here, because it's a little bit plain. So I just want to jazz it up a bit, make it look a bit more exciting. So don't worry if all you've got is some white strips. You know, you might cut up an old pillowcase that's no longer being used. Okay, so just jazz that up a little bit. I'm putting some purple stripes. And let's go a little bit green as well. I'm sure Trevor the tree frog would very much approve of using green. If you've not met Trevor the tree frog before, he's our mascot. And unfortunately, he's fast asleep in bed. It's Sunday morning, he's fast asleep in bed at the moment. So he's not making an appearance today. So there you go. That just painted one of the strips. As I say, if you've got some light coloured strips, it's great. You can jazz them up a little bit, or you can use lots of different coloured strips. So I'm going to put that to one side to dry off a bit for me there. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to decorate our plate. So I'm going to get my hole punch and I'm going to put some holes all around the edges. Okay, so make sure they're a little bit spaced apart, maybe about, about 5 centimetres or so apart from each other. Doesn't have to be exact. Just put a few around the edges. Okay, so you can see it's like that. And we're going to create almost like a bit of a spider web across our bat to make it all nice and colourful and fun. So I'm going to get quite a long piece of wool. Here we go. And where's my scissors? Just cut that off. And I'm going to thread one end through my embroidery needle. But remember, if you don't have a needle, you could just put it on the end of a pipe cleaner, or you can just thread with your fingers. You don't have to necessarily use a needle. Okay, so I'm just going to thread it through one of the holes first of all, and then I'm going to tie it off so that I've got a knot at the back. Okay. How are we getting on at home, guys? If anybody's following along with me, let me know where you are at the moment. Tell me how you're getting on, what it's looking like. Okay, so I've just tied a knot on the back of it there. And then I'm just going to thread it any which way I fancy across my bat, building up almost like a spider's web. So we can do it in all different ways across our bat, just like this. And we can go in and out any of the holes that we want. Oh, falling away from me there. We might make a nice little crisscross pattern going across our plate, building up our all-important fine motor skills, trying to get them into these holes. Here we go. Right, once you are just about covered and have done as many holes as you want to do, you're then just going to tie a knot on the back again. Okay, so it's nice and secure. And trim off any excess threads that you've got there. Okay, that's what mine's looking like at the moment. You might have a slightly different design. It really doesn't matter. That's what's so exciting about doing crafts. It can come out exactly how you want it to be. Then I'm going to do some decoration. So I've got a few little stickers and I'm going to stick these stickers all over my plate. So it's up to you what stickers you use, any colours, any shapes that you like the look of. Just pop them onto the plate and jazz it up as much as you want to. So I've got some blue, I've got some yellow. Oh, I'll have another yellow, I think, before I go on to green. And I've got some green stickers here. You might have some star-shaped stickers or some glittery stickers or something like that. Okay. So there we go. Got a few stickers all over my plate now. And now I am going to get on to painting it. So as I said earlier, it doesn't matter if you don't want to use paint today, or if you perhaps haven't got time to get the paints out. You can just use felt tip pens, or you could have a go at using some oil pastels. You could even, if you really fancy, turn it into a bit of a collage. You could colour bits in and then you could stick on bits from magazines. You could do all sorts of ways. It's entirely up to you how you do it. So I'm just colouring in different sections. Trying not to put too much water on, so I don't want it to run everywhere. So, oh, do I want to do a bit? No, I'm going to do a little bit of red over here. And going around my stickers. The reason we put the stickers on first is because then you don't have to wait for the paint to dry to add the stickers on afterwards. So I'm all about making it straight away and playing with it straight away. That's why I like using things like stickers and staples and glue sticks rather than lots and lots of PVA. It's also better for the environment, actually. Here we go. There's some green. What colour am I going to go for next? Oh, let's have a bit of purple. Let's have some purple in there. Here we are. Now, obviously, I'm rushing this a bit because I want to show you what it looks like when you're finished. But there you go. There's lots of different colours on my bat. And don't forget your handle. You might want to put a few colours on your handle. But obviously, if you do that, make sure it's a bit drier before you start playing with it. Otherwise, you're going to have paint all over your hands. Okay. Now then, it's looking pretty fabulous. I think you'll agree. But we're going to jazz it up even more. And we're going to use our strips of fabric and we're going to staple them around the edges of our plate. Here we go. Where's my stapler? There you go. There's one. And I'm just going to staple it to the back. Doesn't really matter which way around you do it, to be fair. I'm going to staple it on. Let's have this one on here as well. Here we are. Here we go. There's two. Oh, maybe you need another staple on that one. Here we go. So I've got another one on there. And then let's add these two on over here. It's nice and flapping about. Now, a lovely suggestion came up in my membership this morning, actually. And what you could do is you could, if you've got any, if you've got those little sort of decorative bells, you could always thread a bell through on one of the strings on here, or you could thread through a pipe cleaner through one of the holes and put a bell on that. So every time you hit your balloon, you could hit a little jingle of the bell as well, which would be lovely. So this is the strip, remember, that I painted. So that's a little bit damp still. So you might need to give yours a little bit longer to dry out a bit. Okay. But there you have it. There is my completed bat. And if I can grab a balloon, here we go. We've got some balloons left over. It's Eve's birthday the other day. So here we go. Oh, it's flying all over the table. Here's our bat and balloon bash. Lots of fun.